The most dangerous bank in the world. JPMorgan Chase. Why? The top bank for fossil fuels in the world is still JPMorgan Chase. Although their emissions are falling downward, they still rank first and are not making the switch to renewable energy sources quickly enough to guarantee a habitable Earth. In just 2020, they invested $316 billion in fossil fuel projects. They are shifting investments from one fossil fuel type to another that emits less pollution while claiming to be more sustainable. To deceive the public into believing they are green when they are the complete reverse, they are indulging in greenwashing. Future emission trajectories are likewise fixed by fossil fuel projects because they extend far into the future. The curve is not bent by them. They detonate it. For JPMorgan and its stockholders, earning money from lending to and underwriting the fossil fuel industry will continue to take priority above long-term concerns about the carbon curve. In fact, a former CEO of JPMorgan Chase thinks it would be a serious breach of his obligations to the American economy as well as to JPMorgan's stockholders to think otherwise. The American Petroleum Institute estimates that the oil and natural gas sector in the United States contributes 16% of all capital expenditures and 8% of the country's GDP. The oil and natural gas sector in the United States invested an average of $227 billion yearly in infrastructure between 2012 and 2016. Yes, there is a lot of discussion about patient capital and de-risking a sizable portion of energy transition routes. But that is like to Saudi Arabia promising to replace oil by developing a resort in its desert. For Saudi Arabia and JPMorgan, the equation is straightforward. Financing and pumping oil from the earth costs practically nothing for Saudi Arabia and many other fossil fuel companies. The loan amounts and margins for the banks sponsoring these projects are considerable. Additionally, banks adore the consistent, repeat business that comes from financing emissions. The consequences of reversing that equation are disastrous. JPMorgan Chase is aware of this and will keep using hydrocarbon loans to waste good money after bad. It's the route they choose to take at the expense of the earth. JPMorgan Chase is the world's largest financier of fossil fuel projects, by a wide margin. In addition, large man camps of employees who build on pipelines like the Keystone XL and Dakota Access have fostered conditions that allow torture and murder of the local indigenous population, leading to missing and murdered indigenous women and girls, MIU. Not only is it the most dangerous, but it is also the most important. The U.S. Office of Financial Research, OFR, published a research on 30 globally significant systemically important institutions, GSIBs. A committee of bank regulators from 28 different jurisdictions, the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, developed a set of 12 financial indicators in 2011 that are used to identify banks that are the most important to our financial system. The Basel Committee's metrics take into account the size, interconnection, availability of alternatives for the services they offer, worldwide reach, and complexity of the banks. Regulators use the information to determine how much additional capital big banks need to have to protect themselves from the danger they pose to the financial system and to suggest how much risk-based capital surcharge a bank should be subject to. The committee concluded that the U.S. investment bank JPMorgan Chase is the most risky for the global financial system if it fails. Please like and subscribe for more videos.